Hi guys, it's Kailey from Ecstasy Crafts. Today we're going to be making the Winter Wonderland card from our virtual open house kit. So we're going to be making it from all of the contents in our virtual open house kit, but if you weren't able to purchase one of those, they're all sold out now. Not to worry, we'll have a full description with all of the products that we used and links to our blog post on how to make this card from scratch. We'll have it on our blog and we'll post some links in the description below. So be sure to check that out. So if we're starting from our virtual open house kit, this is how it comes in a neat little package like this. So we open that up and pull out all of our contents. Let's see. Get it all out of there. Come on. Perfect. All right, so here we have a nice little sentiment cut out. Beautiful, and that was using one of the Paper Cuts collection Christmas edgers. And I mean, this card would work great with any of those edgers. And then we've got our Snowfall acetate, add a little wintry feel. Set that aside for now. Our mirror cardstock strip that we'll use to make our ledger, along with our Snowflake die cut, and some pearls to decorate, our front frame, and here we are with our card base. So the first thing we want to do is use our handy dandy scoring tool to score it. The full piece is 10 inches. We want to create a 5x7 card, so we're going to score it at the 5-inch mark. And then you can see the frame cutout, which will be the front of our card, was used creating a 6 1/8 by 4 1/8 inch rectangle die. I used one from Creative Expressions. Again, links will be in the description for all of the products used to create this. So I'm going to go score my card base and I'll be right back. So here we are with our card base scored at 5 inches using our little scoring tool from Ecstasy Crafts that was included in the virtual open house kits. So I'm just going to fold the front, creating the front frame, and use my scoring tool to just strengthen that fold. There we go. So there's the base of our card. Now what we want to do is score our front panel in half on the edges, so at 2.5 inches. And this will act as the hinge for the front of our card, as you can see on this finished sample. It will be this piece, if you can see that on the dark card. Okay, so I'm going to go score that and I'll be right back. Alrighty, so here we are with our front panel scored, and we're just going to fold it to create that little hinge that the front of our card will sit on. So we're all done that. Let's set that aside and get to work with our sentiment. So we just want to make sure all the little die cut pieces are popped out. If there's anything lingering, there's a little guy. Poke him out. And then what we want to do is trim up our sentiment so that it will fit on the front base of our card. So what we want is from the tip of this snowflake, I'll use my finger, from the tip of this snowflake to the bottom edge of our die, we want about 3.5 inches so that it fits nicely within our frame. And then we want to trim it on the sides to about 6 3/4 inches wide. So I'm going to go trim that and I will be right back. So here we are with our Creative Expressions edger sentiment all trimmed up. Cut it away so that it's about, ooh, be careful when you're pulling the top piece away so you don't snag it on anything. Okay, so we want it to be 6 3/4 inches wide and 3.5 inches tall so that we can fit it onto the front frame of our card. Perfect. So we're going to flip our front frame over, whoops, which again was created using the rectangle die cut from Creative Expressions, one of the frames. So that's 6 1/8 by 4 1/8 inches to cut that guy out. So we're going to attach our sentiment onto the back of our front frame, and I'm going to use double-sided tape. I have the 5mm double-sided tape from Suk Wang, which I love using for this. It's quick and easy, but if you don't have double-sided tape, you can always use any craft glue that you have lying around. Just make sure to hold the pieces in place while it's drying. So I'm going to use the double-sided tape on the front of the sentiment. So all along the bottom there to make sure it's nice and secure, and I'm going to go up the edges as well. Now you could use your sticky Specks if you wanted to attach the sentiment that way onto your acetate first, but I kind of like the 3D look doing it this way. So that's what I'm going to do. So we've got our tape lined up. I'm going to remove the front of it to get the second sticky side exposed. Come on, there we go. And I'm going to center it on the bottom of our front frame. So there we have it, our sentiments all tacked on there. Now we're going to use our Snowfall acetate, and this one's from HUNKYDORY. I absolutely love it. It just puts a little wintry feel on. Now it should be cut already at 5x7, but you might have to do a little bit of trimming there around the edges just to make sure everything lines up. So again, I'm going to use my double-sided tape, but feel free if you want to use your craft glue, again, just hold it there for a little while until it dries on. So I'm applying it to the edges of our frame. And along the bottom as well. There we go. And removing the front to expose the tape. Perfect. Whoops. Okay. And then I'm going to apply our acetate right on the front, or I guess this is on the back side of the panel. Anyways, I see I have a little bit of extra overhang there, so I'm just going to grab a pair of scissors and just trim that along the bottom of the frame. So feel free to trim it up anywhere you see it might need a little squaring off. There we go. Beautiful. All right. So now we're going to bring our card base back in, and we're going to attach the front panel to the little hinge that we created. So we're going to do that by applying our double-sided tape, or again, craft glue, to the front of this hinge. Just the bottom half. We don't want to go up past where we scored that line at 2.5 inches, because we're only attaching our front panel to the bottom half so that it can still flip up and down. So we peel off our backing. And then attach our card base. Line it up with the frame behind. And there we go. Perfect little ledge. You can see there, we've got it attached so it can swing back and forth. Beautiful. Okay, so as you can see, it doesn't really stay up on its own. So we want to create a little ledge right here so that we give the front of the card something to rest on when it's on display, because a card this beautiful, you know the recipient's going to want to display it. So we are going to attach our mirror card, silver mirror card, onto our little strip of cardstock that matches. Again, I'm going to use my double-sided tape to just do this quickly. Come on. If you have any trouble pulling the backing off of your double-sided tape, I like to just have a pair of tweezers handy to help me pull that up. Sometimes it can be a little too fiddly for me. There we go. Now we will center our strip of mirror card onto our strip of cardstock. There we go. And then we're going to add the Snowflake die cut on top of all of that. So just again, make sure all of your all of the pieces are popped out of your die cut. And then I'm going to grab my sticky Specks and peel off the front clear piece. Not entirely, because I want a spot to still be able to grab it. And I'm going to place my die cut with the bottom side down onto the sticky Specks. I'm going to lay this front sheet back on and make sure all the little dots of glue are stuck onto all the pieces of the die. And then I'm going to peel the front piece back up. And again, this is where tweezers could come in handy. You want to carefully pull your die cut off. Now, this one's quite fragile, so just go slow. Make sure you're getting all of the different angles up as you peel it off, because we don't want any of our little snowflake pieces to get ripped off. So just go slow and pull that up and off, and then we're going to place it on top of our ledge. So just center that the best you can and tap down all the little pieces, and just look how well that works. I love the sticky Specks. So there we've got our ledger. Now I'm going to use the foam pads that came in your virtual open house kit to attach the ledger to the card, just to give it a little 3D action. So I'm going to put a few on there along the top and a few along the bottom. There we go. And I like to use my little poker tool to pull off my backing on my foam pads. Ooh, that guy's really stuck on there. There we go. Pull them all off. There. And then we're going to place it on the bottom third of the interior of our card. And just center that. Press it down to make sure those foam pads are stuck on. And there you have it. Your little ledger sets up just perfectly. Get rid of all those guys. And to finish it off, why don't we add a few pearls on there just to bring it all together. I'm gonna add, woo! I'm gonna add a couple in the corners, I think, just to kind of bring that snowflake element out onto the frame. I like that. Oops, they're just flying all over the place. There we go. Maybe one more. Oop. Beautiful. And you could add them to add some 3D elements to your snowflakes if you wanted. Add some around onto your blue. I'm gonna leave it like that. I like it that way. All right. So again, if you want to know what any of the products were that we used, there's going to be links below and a full description and steps on how to make this card from scratch and some instructions on how to make it using your virtual open house kit on our blog at ecstasycrafts.com. So join our Facebook group, Crafting with Ecstasy. Post the cards that you've made. We'd love to see them. We always like to see what you guys are up to. All right. Thanks for making this card with me. We'll see you later.